Hello, everyone. My name's Stephen Murray, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of The Gift of Giving. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is the program that features nonprofits and foundations and 501c3s right here in the state of Nevada. These are the individuals and organizations who are making our world a better and brighter place for everyone. This week's guests are representing an organization called My Scars Are Beautiful. And the founder and president of the organization is Michelle Hardy Rodriguez. And she has brought along with her three guests who are members of the organization. We've got Lisa Jesgold, we've got Alec Espinosa, and Brian Moore at the end. So thank you all for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you on this program.
Thank you for having us.
All right, you're very welcome. So, Michelle, we're going to start with you. You were the founder of the organization. You're also the president. Give us a brief history of this organization, when it was founded, and what was the catalyst that made you start it?
So we started in 2016. That's when we officially got our 501c3 status. But I did originate it in 2014 with a website blog where survivors could submit their own stories of trauma. And from there, it grew into the nonprofit. And the catalyst for it was I was in a horrific car accident in 2013 where I sustained third and fourth degree burns to my upper extremities and couldn't go in the sun for 2 years. Well, I had to wear long sleeves for 2 years. And so during that recovery time, I had in-home nursing for about 6 to 8 months. Was in the hospital for 2 weeks. They tried to keep me for another month, but I checked myself out. Oh. Because I couldn't take being in there anymore. So I was like, I'm going to go home and have the nurses come to my house because they were changing my dressings and everything at that point. So it was good to go home. And I noticed that during my own recovery, there wasn't a lot of resources I felt in the community for the needs that I had, such as with my emotional wounds, the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety that comes with that physical trauma, along with the physical pain that I had. There just wasn't a lot of resources. I talked to a couple of psychologists, but again, they're so by the book in their clinical studies that they don't have the life experience to really relate to that level of trauma. So I just did a lot of praying and, I asked God, I said, God, what is it that I need to do to help heal myself? And he told me to start the website that I had started, reach out to other survivors. And from there, it grew into what it is today. And I really feel like God was a catalyst in a sense for me to get to where I was in my healing. And so everything that we provide now were actually personal things that I needed during my recovery. So such as our support groups. I didn't have anyone to talk to when I was healing. And I had, out of all my so-called friends, I think I had 1 or 2 people that actually reached out during that time to where I could just talk and vent about what I was going through. And I was like, if I'm going to really start this, what is it that I needed? So the support groups came into play. The one friend, she took me to the movies. And that was such a huge thing for me to leave the house because I isolated myself after that. I stopped going out. I stopped talking to people. So her taking me to the movies was just a couple hours, just got my mind off of everything, off all the trauma. And so now the Survivor Squad outings, that's where that came from.
Well, we'll be talking about that in another segment.
Oh, so, yes. Okay.
We'll get into that in more detail because I think that's a very important program. And you're right. In researching your organization, I didn't see much out there for trauma organizations. Yours is a pretty unique organization, it seems to me.
Yeah, very broad.
I couldn't find anything out there. Now, obviously, there's 2 kinds of trauma. There's the emotional and there's the physical. And did you originally start out with just focusing on the physical, or the emotional, or did you start the organization thinking, I'm going to welcome people who are suffering trauma, be it physical or emotional?
It was physical and or emotional from the very start. And then that was actually a struggle for me because I was only keeping it to where it was the emotional scars attached to physical injuries. And then I had people starting to reach out, that said, hey, I've, been through abuse. I've been through, you know, so many different things, divorce and all kind of things. And that was, deemed traumatic for them, and I was like, hey, I'm not one to judge what your level of what you think your trauma is. If you need someone to talk to about that, then let's talk about it. And so that's where the mental health support group stemmed in from.
I think that's wonderful that you're so non-judgmental. That because trauma it does mean different things to different people. It's not a one size fits all. So
Right.
you're to be commended for starting out on this. So let's go to your guests, and you've all got scars, emotional or physical, in different ways. Any of you like to share with you the nature of your scars?
Sure. So I actually am a burn survivor. I had boiling water spill all over my body from my knee to my abdomen. And so I had second and third degree burns all from there to there.
Oof. And do either of you want to share?
So part of my story was drugs and alcohol. So there was a day where I had consumed both, and then the next day I started having hallucinations, and I was just like going crazy, and I decided to take my life. So I went to a gas station and I poured gasoline into a bottle, went to like the edge of town, and then I poured the gasoline on myself and lit myself on fire. And then the next day, my mom came to see me, and she was like, "What happened?" Like she was like so shocked that because I had like my skin was like coming off, like it was just so bad. So I got hospitalized for 4 to 5 months, and yeah, it was a long process, like a lot of recovery that I had to go through, a lot of like soul searching, and so I sustained burns on my hands, my chest, and my face.
Oh my!
Yeah, and I don't know. I somehow got through it. I started trusting God, which I had kind of lost faith for a while before when all this happened. But I don't know. God has everything like a plan for everyone, and in its own time. And somehow this, even though it was like such a horrific accident, it brought me closer to God in the end. And so I'm just very grateful in a way, just that the the process of my recovery has like opened my eyes to like what I was doing was wrong. I don't want to go back to living that kind of lifestyle, and so yeah, I'm just very thankful today.
Thank you for sharing that, Alex. That has to have been a painful story to share.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. I'm sure the viewers will appreciate the hope and inspiration that others might be faced with a similar situation that you were, and how you've come through it.
Actually, there is one more thing. I had to learn to forgive myself for what I did, because like afterwards I sort of learned that we're all created in God's image and stuff like that, and it made me realize that like what I did to myself was wrong. Like I was trying to hurt myself, which is just not okay. But I had to learn to forgive myself for what I did to myself, and so that was its own little process. And I really hope that anyone who's gone through something similar can like learn to forgive themselves as well. Like it wasn't your fault. It never is. Like you're suffering, and maybe you thought that was like the way out, but it's never the answer. And hopefully, you survive, and you can learn to forgive yourself afterwards.
I'm not too sure. You said that's a little process. I'm not too sure as it's that little. That's a tough process. I would
it's
suspect.
huge. Yeah,
Huge.
It was.
And Brian, do
So,
you want to share your
so
story?
for me, I got burnt when I was 4 years old. Mine
my
was
goodness.
a fireworks accident, and so I've been with my physical scars for years. So and during the process of me growing through what I did, first I want to say this: my beautiful scars is not just physical; it's also mental.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That what people don't understand.
Excellent.
So my physical scars, what helped me get through what I went through, because I had family. And then I was raised by I had a bunch of cousins. So I never got it treated different. So I never saw myself different. But when I started growing older and getting in the world, people start seeing me different. But my background with my family, I didn't see myself different. So I pursued this, my life and just moving forward without, because you get called names, you get the stares and all that stuff. You just learn how to deal with these things.
Yes.
And then when I was 15, I realized, because I was with Shriners Hospital when I first got burned.
Mm-hmm.
So they provided a lot of my surgical care up until I was 21. When I was 15, I decided not to have no more because I started getting confidence within myself. If I'm this, I'm just be that. But you have to see me from the inside if you want to see me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Sure.
because people judge you by your physical all the time, but you learn how to just deal with that. And then those are people you truly don't want around you anyway. So,
Yes.
but what My Beautiful Scars did for me, I started the organization, I think it was about 2016. My son was at an event doing a show, and she was at a youth event, and that's when she came to us in the parking lot. And because a lot of people come talk to me about, being part of the organization or want me to tell my story. I'm cool with telling my story, but there's a lot of organizations I don't like being a part of, because once you get in an organization, you find out they're not truly about what they say they are. But the beauty of this, since I've been in My Beautiful Scars, it's been a whole bunch of resources that have helped me personally to get through, just emotional and physical and everything.
Hold that thought, because I'm going to ask all of you how you benefited from being a part of My Scars Are Beautiful later. But I do want to find out for you before we go for a break. How did you all hear of My Scars Are Beautiful? So let's start with you, Lisa. How did you hear of it?
So I met Michelle, I believe in 2016, when she had just started her organization. We were both burn survivors at the UMC Burn Center. And so we met at one of their groups. And we initially just connected and started to talk. And I was really intrigued with her and her spirit and wanted to help out as much as I could.
There you go. And you, Alec?
I believe I met her either October or November was the first time I got involved in the program. I'd heard about it through my insurance. There was like a lady there at my insurance who was like very helpful through the whole process. She was like super supportive. She was giving us advice on like what to do, where to go, like for wound care, for all this kinds of stuff. And then they suggested this group called Scars Are Beautiful. And then I had like a Zoom call with Michelle, just like before we even like got to go to an outing or a support group. And we just talked for like an hour, I think, just like about my story. And she shared like what the group's about. And it made me really excited to finally like have found like a little home, I guess, like, because since I've learned it's sort of like a family, but the part that really intrigued me was just like people that I can relate to that get together like once a month to share, just like enjoy life. Thank you.
We're going to talk about some of those groups and meetings that you have in the second section. And how did you hear of it?
Well, they jammed me up in the parking lot. That's what it is. I meant they jammed me up in the parking lot.
I did, huh?
Yeah.
That was me and Joe.
Yeah. And so they told me about the organization, and it took a while because I was busy. Like I said, I wasn't too keen on jumping on things. Then she contacted me again. Then she invited us. It was to outing. Then that's how I heard about it.
So you were bulldozed into it.
I was bulldozed.
On that thought, we're going to take a little sponsorship break. Please stay with us. We're going to be back with these amazing guests in this amazing organization. Please stay with us.
At Lucia Capital Group, we've been helping people manage risk and plan for their future through some of the most challenging market conditions. Volatility in the stock market will never go away, so it's really all about your strategy and how you react to it. Our bucket strategy aims to help you manage your financial goals even during the most uncertain times. I'm Joshua Dowden. I've been working with clients here for more than 16 years, and I can help you as well. My office is right here in the heart of Summerlin, just north of Charleston Boulevard. Don't let the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-508-6421. That's 702-508-6421.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And I'd like to thank our guests today. We have Michelle and Lisa and Alec and Brian. And gosh, it sounds like Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, doesn't it? If any of you remember that movie. And I'd also like to thank Lucia Capital Group for sponsoring this program. Without our sponsors, we would not have this program at all. So if any of you are looking to improve your 401k retirement, reach out to Josh Dowden at Lucia Capital Group. He'll be sure and help you out. So in this segment of the program, I'd like to discuss the Survivor Squad. So first of all, would you like Michelle to talk about the benefits of the Survivor Squad? And then I'd like to hear from the guests how they've personally benefited from them. So
Absolutely.
tell us what the Survivor Squad actually is.
So the Survivor Squad is monthly outings where survivors get together to celebrate survivorship, also to have relational engagement and meeting other survivors that have been through similar experiences, and overall just for them to come out, get their mind off whatever it is they're going through, and have a great time. Every month we do something different. We either will go to the movies, or we'll go to a dinner, we'll go to a show. This month we're going to Trapped Escape Room, where it's a team building exercise where we try to get out of a room using each other's clues and mysteries to help get through the room. So every month it's something different.
That sounds fun. And how many people do you have participating in this?
It's usually about 15 to 20 survivors, along with their caretaker can come as well, or someone that they want to bring with them.
Nice.
So it's a good opportunity for their caretakers and loved ones to also come and spend time with their family as well, because the caretakers go through a lot as well, and it's good for them to join into the activities as well. So
yes, it's nice that you acknowledge the caretakers because their journeys are tough too.
Absolutely.
So would any of your the guests like to talk about how they've benefited? Have you been to many of these events yourself, Lisa?
Yes, I try to go as often as I can. I've been more recently than before, but what I love about them is we just get a chance to meet other people who have gone through similar situations. And everybody responds to pain and challenges and obstacles in their life differently, but we all connect on some deep level.
Sure.
And you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think we live in a society that is very judgmental. And it's really nice to just be with people that have gone through a lot, and you can just be yourself and hang out and have fun. And it's wonderful.
Well, it's probably because you've all got a common experience that the rest of us haven't had.
Exactly.
How about you, Alec? Have you been to many of these events?
Yeah, I've been
to many?
to most of them, almost every one since I found the program or the organization last November. My first show was like at Excalibur. It was like a medieval Tournament of Kings.
Oh,
yes,
Uh-huh.
that was fun. After that, I was like, I don't know. I met so many people there. Like I learned a lot from other survivors, like what they've been through, and it really pushed me to just like keep coming back and like because I started. The more you come, the more it starts to feel like a family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we had like a Christmas dinner at one point in December, and that was really nice. There was like face painting, food, and we were just enjoying our time together. So I always look forward to seeing everyone, and that's a big part of what keeps me coming back. Like just seeing how everyone else is doing, and just enjoying this outing with them. And then I get to bring my mom and sometimes my little sister, and they always have fun too. And I do too. It's always like something to look forward to. Like if maybe you're not having like the best month or whatever, at least you have like this one thing that like it'll clear your mind off of whatever you're going through, and you can have fun with them. Thank you.
It sounds like it's a very caring, compassionate family.
Yeah.
Is what I'm sensing from what you're all saying. It's you can all come together and be yourselves.
Yeah.
And how about you, Brian?
It's like having a Sunday dinner with your family without the drama.
Oh.
That's the best way to describe it. Without the drama. Yeah, that's the best way the outings are.
Oh dear. Well, that kind of sums it up nicely. So, who actually plans the events? Do you have a committee that organizes them, or do you get feedback or input from the participants?
So right now it's primarily myself. I just got an event coordinator who just joined the team about a month ago. So he's starting to take over those duties.
Yes.
So when we get to the volunteer portion of things, I can, definitely put that out there because we could use the help.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, the event coordinator that you've hired is here volunteer.
Volunteer.
Are they all
Mhm.
volunteers within your organization?
Yes, no paid staff currently.
Wow.
Mhm.
Plan on keeping it that way.
Trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get the volunteers to stick around though. That's the challenge. And I think if we eventually could have paid staff, hopefully that could,
Yep.
make people stick around a little bit longer.
Well, hopefully there might be some people out there who are tuning into this program that might be interested in participating and volunteering. The guests here, did you have passions or hobbies? What helps you get through the trauma? What do you have to do within yourself to help get through this? What interests do you have that make the going all worthwhile?
Well, for me, it's been the spiritual connection I have, and family, and my son. Music always been the thing with me, so I spend a lot of time musically with my son, helping his career out, and that keeps me busy with a lot of stuff besides work and stuff. And then he also attends a lot of events too. So, because he basically almost kind of like a caretaker. Then he's been around. So, and I see him working with other kids more. He have more passion when he see other kids with certain
Yes.
situations and stuff. So, and then, he befriends them to let them know everything's cool because he's with the part of the organization as well.
And when you say your passion is with your son and
Music.
the music,
Mhm.
does he write music or does he play
Well,
music
he does
or
it all.
does he sing music?
He's a
or-
recording artist, so we
Recording
constantly.
artist.
Yes, his name Red Vegas, and we constantly putting out music. Matter of fact, he's finna get ready to go on tour, and so we busy with that type. That what keeps me busy, and it keeps me focused on more of a positive thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how about you, Lisa?
Well, when I had my burn, for me, what was really important was to do something creative. And to do something creative and artistic, which is something I've always wanted to do. And so I actually started to sew, and I started to teach kids and adults how to sew. For me, my situation is a little bit different because my burns were hidden. I could
Yes.
wear a skirt or pants and clothing, and people couldn't see my physical scars.
Sure.
But I did have still the trauma that was
Yeah.
associated with it.
Yes.
So it was really important for me to be able to just dive into something that I love to do, and also to just find people that had the similar experience and just connect with them.
Yes.
And just because I think that helping others is a wonderful way to heal.
Of course.
Yes.
Of
Mhm.
course.
Mhm.
It sounds very spiritual. I'm picking up a lot of faith-based
Yeah.
in this organization.
Yes.
I think faith has kept us going.
Yes.
Mhm.
It sounds like it. How about you, Alec?
So when I was hospitalized, like for 4 months, I didn't have much to do besides like lay in bed and watch TV. But eventually, a friend brought me like a sketch pad and books. So what I started doing was like drawing a lot and writing poetry. That really helped me like express my feelings of what like the trauma that I'd been through and what I was going through. Like I got to like vent it out onto paper, express myself that way. And since I've been out, I've been really into drawing, reading books, watching films. Because I majored in film in college, so that's one of my big interests. So like it just distracts me from like whatever I'm doing, and it kind of gives me a keep trying to keep goal oriented because I want to go back to school. When I had my accident, I'd kind of given up on a future for myself, but I'm slowly like it's coming back to me. Like I have hope for the future. I have I'm learning to trust myself, have faith. Also having like a spiritual connection with like God, which I had not had for so long, has kept me going. I'm learning to pray, just doing stuff like that. So just like a lot of creative, a lot of yeah, just a lot of creative stuff that keeps me going.
I think your spiritual connection there, I think that's a perfect way to end this segment.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And we're going to take another little sponsorship break, and we're going to hear from Pacific Coast Capital. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at PacificCoastCap.com.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to thank Pacific Coast Capital for sponsoring this program. If you're a business and you're looking for financial assistance, have cash flow problems, please reach out to them. They'll be sure to help you out. And I'd like to thank my guests today from My Scars Are Beautiful. Thank you all for being with us and giving up your time to share your knowledge and experience of this wonderful organization. So, Michelle, I'm going to come back to you. You have some support groups, and there are 3 of them that I'm aware of. You've got the Burn Survivors Peer Support Group, you've got the Mental Health one, and you've got the Physical Injuries one. How often do you have these meetings, and how long are they?
They're every 4th Sunday, and they're about an hour to an hour 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. And let's talk about the Burn Survivors Peer Support Group first. Give us a little bit of information about what's discussed and what the support group is.
So in the Burn Survivor Support Group, we really focus on healing coping mechanisms, affirmations, and most importantly, the peer-to-peer support. So the survivors can talk to each other and have that support and sharing that experience with one another, almost in a sense of they're getting information and advice from another survivor. And so with the facilitation within the group, it really just focuses on needs, whatever it is that they want to talk about and what they're going through, and any type of just overall healing coping mechanisms within the group.
And do most of them come back every month, or is it just sometimes they feel like coming, or they have a specific need that month and they'll come back that 1 month and then disappear for 3 or 4 months, or do most of them it's a reoccurring part of their life? It's
usually reoccurring. We used to do them bi-monthly, but we found that it's better to do it once a month for now. And they're pretty consistent in returning. In the meantime, during that month, if there is additional support they need, they can reach out to our support line and get additional resources.
Oh, gotcha. And how many people at the Burn Survivors, how many people attend that?
It's usually
approximately.
It ranges between maybe 3 to 5. Sometimes
Gotcha.
we've had 7.
Okay.
It just depends because they can come at their leisure. They're not required to come
Sure.
every month. So
It's not part of the sign-up program.
right.
And what about the mental health peer support group? How many people show up to that? And is it the same kind of thing? Do they discuss their needs? And
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same. That group, we don't really have as many participants right now. It's been about 2 to 3. And it's the same dynamic where we go over affirmations, we talk about self-care, we talk about the healing coping mechanisms and all, and then the peer-to-peer support group.
okay.
And that's the same with the physical injury support group. So the difference between all 3, I just want to clarify that. So the Burn Survivor Support Group is burn survivors. The physical injury support group is anyone who's experienced any type of physical trauma. And then the mental health support group is anyone who has mental health conditions, or if they're just anything that they want to vent and talk about, whatever that is, that's what that group is for.
I was a part of that one for a period of time because I was going through a court custody case. And then, so a lot of gentlemen that was in it, it helped me get through the situation I was going through because it was a common thing with a lot of the fathers. And,
Gotcha.
and one thing I got to say this, once you get to talking to individuals and hearing their story, you realize, damn, my story ain't that bad. Let me work through this.
Gives you a different perception.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
it really does.
And I would think the mental support group, the physical injuries, there is that common bond. But in the mental or emotional one, they're different because Brian's
Going through
talking about-
personal things.
He's
Yeah.
talking about childhood custody, and other people it could be divorce, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
other people they've lost their home foreclose their home or something like that.
Right.
Scars
So
are
it's a
not
whole-
physical; they mental too.
Yes,
Mhm.
and so in the mental one, you've got people coming from different angles and different
Yes.
perspectives.
Mhm.
I would suspect.
Absolutely.
How do you get funded?
So right now it's individual donations. Also through myself, I'm a realtor, so a portion of my commission from my sales I contribute back to My Scars Are Beautiful, and we've gotten a couple grants, but that's primarily the three sources right now.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Do you get anything from the business community at all, or have you reached out to the business community, chambers of commerce, or anything?
I have, but when I reach out to a lot of the businesses, I don't get responses back.
Oh, really?
Not to call anybody out or anything, but
No?
I send emails and I call and I don't get a response. So that's been a challenge, but it's okay because, God will provide. So,
Yes.
it comes in wherever way it comes. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, the good thing is you don't have a staff to pay, as you said.
Right.
And you've been around for a long time, so the proof of the pudding's in the eating. I mean, what you said, 2016 you started, and so
Mhm.
that's 8 years, and you've been around all this time, and so good for you. And you said it is all volunteers.
Yes.
I can't believe that you've run this organization 8 years with all the volunteers. Now, the volunteers step up and help out with other things, help with the paperwork, the filing of your taxes or things like that.
Not quite. I do all of that. But I am looking for board directors. I do need a treasurer, a secretary, and another director. So that is definitely something we could use help with on that
Yes.
side.
If there's anybody out there who's listening, who's interested in joining this organization, what was it, secretary, treasurer? How much time do you spend on the bookkeeping aspect of it?
It's quite a bit of time. It's hours. It can be hours. It just varies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some people will step up to the plate.
Mhm.
Do you have any fundraisers coming up?
We do have a fundraiser coming up July 27th with Kendra Jewelry. She's located in downtown Summerlin. They will be doing a benefit proceeds. So 20% of the proceeds from their jewelry sales will go to My Scars Are Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Now, do they do that often, or is this the first time?
This is the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
And how did you hear of them, or how did they hear of you?
They found us on social media and they reached out and they asked if we could be our benefiting charity for them, and we said sure. So excited
Ask them
about
if they've
that.
got another 100 people in the
Yeah.
in the jewelry chamber of commerce or whatever, that could help out.
Yeah,
Well, I
that'd be
hope
great.
that
Yeah.
is going to be successful. I know John's going to put up the address of that fundraiser, and we've got the date. It's coming up in a few days.
July 27th
Yes,
from 1
few
p.m. to
days,
3.
yes.
Mhm.
1
It is a
p.m.
few
till
days.
3.
It's already July. She's just going by so
Yes,
fast.
And we enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So I hope it turns out to be very, very successful for you.
Thank you.
What would you say is the biggest challenge facing your organization right now?
Pretty much the things I've mentioned, just getting the help that we need, people to stick around and actually do what's required. A lot of times through the years, we've had volunteers, they come around for a little bit and then they disappear. And then it's like, I have to start all over again. So it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, I can do it quicker myself versus waiting on other people to come around. And that's
Mhm.
what I do,
Yes.
so, but I think that would be our biggest need is just having that help.
Yeah.
Consistency in that help.
I think it was as an amazing organization. You're all doing the Lord's work out there, and I thank you so much for
Mhm.
being guests here today.
Thank you for
It's
having
just been
us.
an
Thank you so much.
experience
Thank you.
learning about your organization, what you do. It is unique, and I think it's a beautiful family that you're all together and helping each other out.
Yes.
So I thank you. Before we go, would you like to put your contact information out for us? So that
Yes,
if people want to learn more about your organization, where can they go and find the information?
So they can go to myscarsarebeautiful.org. They also can go to our social media handles, which is at MSAB Nonprofit. And our phone number is 702-909-2127.
Great. Well, put that out there. And hopefully you'll get some people interested in volunteering or becoming board members.
Yes.
And thank you
That'd
for
be wonderful.
educating us all on what you're all having to deal with. The troubles, the joys, the sorrows, the heartaches, and the
The
heart-moving.
triumphs.
Yes, the triumphs. Certainly the triumphs. And on that note, we're going to leave it on the triumph. So thank you all for being with us today. Thoroughly enjoyed having you as guests and wish you well in the future, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to also thank John Stiles, our show's producer and owner of WWDBTV. Sorry about that, John. And you threw me off. And he's the station owner of WWDBTV, and appreciate him allowing me to host this program. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Pacific Coast Capital, Lucia Capital Group, and Ralph Champion. You'll hear his message at the end of this program. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at stephen@thegiftofgiving.vegas. And finally, last but by no means least, I thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this program. Please share it with anybody who you think might be interested in volunteering with them, donating funds, or anybody who can benefit from what they are trying to accomplish. In the meantime, please stay safe. I hope you'll join us again next week. Be kind to one another. Have a great week, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.